Senator Whish-Wilson.
Thank you, Acting Madam Deputy President. Process issue first. I'd like to raise. The Greens weren't consulted about this today. We had no idea this was coming on, and obviously we've been out there campaigning on this issue before every other political party was, by the way. But nevertheless, we do agree that it is important to get some certainty for agricultural producers. We do agree that a potential deal is on the table here for agricultural producers and for backpackers, and we believe it will be accepted by the agricultural community. Senator Lambie has raised publicly a 10.5% tax rate that would allow us to be competitive with New Zealand. We would also like to see the superannuation clawbacks removed. However, if they weren't, that would still get local agricultural producers to around an effective rate of 19%. Now, our view has been very simple from the start. The very first thing I did during the double dissolution election was go out to the Tamar Valley and call a press conference and stand with agricultural producers, fruit growers in this case, and I said to them, you need to stand up on this issue now during the election. This is when you're going to have the most leverage to actually get an outcome on this issue. Their point is simple. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Their situation is that they have a competitive advantage over other countries to attract a pool of labour that's desperately needed. Now, Senator Xenophon, I don't agree with you on this issue. It is important to try and get those social security recipients into meaningful work, if that's what they choose to do. However, let me tell you, you obviously haven't been out to talk to agricultural producers. They nearly all have an employ local policy first, but they simply cannot get the pool of labour they need, the seasonal labour they need at the right times, and it's absolutely essential that that pool is filled by backpackers when they're here in this country. I, with my small vineyard in Tasmania, have used backpacker labour. I know how essential it is, and whilst your policy you're proposing may take some time to implement, if it works, that's a positive, but it will not solve the situation now, I guarantee it. You are out of touch with what agricultural producers want. They want some certainty on this. The easiest way to solve this problem would be for this Senate and for the lower house to amend the Income Tax Act of 1982 and make it certain that backpackers, while they're here in Australia, are residents for tax purposes. That means they pay the same tax as Australians. That means they pay no tax for their first $18,200. At the moment, this is the most important point in this debate. At the moment, a backpacker can elect as to whether they're a resident for tax purposes or not. That test for that residency is available for every backpacker to have a look at. The government are going around, including Senator Duniam, through you, Chair, are going around and saying that all backpackers will pay 32% tax if this legislation doesn't pass. That is false. The ATO are on record saying at the Senate inquiry that that is false. Many backpackers, and unfortunately we don't know how many because no one's ever looked at this, many backpackers are residents for tax purposes when they're in Australia. And I gave an example at the Senate inquiry of two Patagonian workers who rent a cottage on my family farm. They base themselves in Tasmania for 6 months. They work at the Hillwood Strawberry Farm. They're passionate rock climbers. They spent the whole year in Tasmania climbing mountains, but they work out of a single place. For every intensive purposes, they are residents, they pay no tax. They are just one example. So to go out there scaring people, the government's gone from telling bull dust one day, the next day playing the xenophobia card, straight to fear-mongering. That's the last refuge of the scoundrel. This tax is a stupid idea. It's not trying to fix a broken system. It's simply penny-pinching revenue raising when there's so much more we could do in this country to raise revenue. This is not wanted at 19% or at 32% by the agricultural sector. We can find the money elsewhere. I urge the Senate to reject the government's tax and actually get a result today that will fix the problem, and then we can move on to more important matters like how we're actually going to raise some serious revenue to pay for the services we need in this country and help balance the budget.
Thank you, Senator.